American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Pervis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Coach Q. What up, Q?
What up? What up? We back.
Yep, it's good to be back. The AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast. You can see us visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. And anyone who listens but doesn't hit that button, we know you're a hater, but that's cool. We're going to get on with the show anyways. As soon as I figure out where the button is. Let me find out. There we go. All right, first down, we get a chance to start fresh and discuss whatever is on our minds. Q, what's new with you?
Man, I always be hoping I have something to say during this part of the show, but man, there ain't much going on right now, man. I'm in the desert, you know what I'm saying? So my days are pretty much the same over here, but yeah, that's about it, man. I ain't got nothing going on.
The summer's difficult when you you pretty much are just working for the summer. So the weekends that you're not like at home. So like what you doing, you ain't doing as much as you normally would do if like you was in the States or whatever. For me, I'm trying to build my one athlete one day at a time out here. We had a track meet this weekend. Rose out there running. They threw the javelin. They added hurdles this week, which was crazy because she knew how to jump them. But then at the end, there's like a little space where there's no hurdles, and she would jump it and then just kind of wait. And I'm like, "Come on, finish!" And then she finished. But it was fun getting to see her get acclimated to the sports. You know, we was out there for way too many hours, and I start to appreciate the being a parent part of like. You just don't know what our parents had to go through with us until you go through it. And people that like don't have kids, no offense, but you know, it's just different when you know, like I was getting ready for the weekend. I was like, man, I'm about to lose 2.5 hours. And she about to be out there for about 10 seconds at a time. And that's what it was. And you know, that's how it becomes. That was my weekend. So interesting to get to that point. You know, the older they get, the more they're going to start doing other stuff that takes time, but you don't get to like participate. You know, me and you are very similar. I like to be more of an active parent, like in doing stuff, but sometimes I just got to watch. I just got to sit there and watch the paint dry. This was one of those times.
Yeah.
You know, when you're building D1 athlete, that's what you got to do.
Try going to gymnastics with a 2-year-old.
Oh, boy.
it's like literally watching paint dry.
Watch them try to do a flip
Just
for like
funny.
30 minutes. Like, yeah. But yeah, that was it for me for the weekend. So let's get into the little bit of football that we had this week. All right, let's get into our helmet sticker / stars. Let's talk about some of the key player performances from this last weekend. Stats aside, these are some players who deserve recognition for their play last week. We'll do 1, 2, or 3 stars, and we'll start with the 1 sticker, 1 star performances. Who you got, Q? Do you have any? I mean, it's a tough week. I got a lot, but I'll say this before we even get started. I'm giving no 3 stars this weekend. I'm sorry. The most that I watched was 3 quarters, so there's no way anybody's going to get 3 stars.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to give the Tampa Saints offense. I'm going to give them 1 sticker this week. And the reason is because they scored 21 points. They scored 21 points. I don't remember the last game they scored 21 points. I'm going to say this. I don't remember the last game they scored 21 points. And that's why I gave them 1 sticker. Even though they lost the way they lost, which was pretty much later, like I'd say later in the game. But I like the spark that I've seen. I mean, they went deep. They completed some passes deep for touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Against some good DBs. So that's why I want to give the whole Tampa Saints offense, because they've just been struggling to get anything in the recent games, and it was nice to see them hit deep a few times. And so that's why I gave them a one sticker performance. So shout out to the Saints. Even though they got beat the way they got beat, they still put points on the board. So I gave them some love for that one.
Let me jump in there with that then, with my, because it's two of my one stars is from the Saints. I'm just throw it out there. The tight end Kimmy Tuomi. I have his stats. He had 3 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. But the reason he get a star is number 80 rode out on that Butcher's defense. He ran a flat. That was a flat. He caught a flat and then rode out, and then he hit that move. I guess depending on where you're from, they call it a certain type of move. I ain't gonna say it online where I'm from. We call it a derogatory term where you cut the field and you know someone catching you. You did that on Zach Wright. I was like, okay, he got a little savvy in him, and he was fast enough. Like that's one thing that was very impressive is Zach Wright is not a slow person. And I mean, he had maybe a 2-yard head start on Zach Wright. He kept that 2 yards. I'm thinking maybe came down to about a yard at the end when Zach dove, but to keep that kind of speed at that point of the run, he had already ran a while too. So just giving a star shout out to you, Tuomi, Kimmy, because I mean you're doing your thing. And then the other guy I got is the quarterback, Tobias Rayalasco. I'm not 100% sure how to say his last name. I know he's part Swedish as well, so it might be a hard J. I don't know. But the quarterback, like you said, they scored 21 points. But in my opinion, it's hard to say this, but they look better with him at quarterback than they have all season. And it could just be a timing thing. I don't think it's a negative thing about Jesse. What I meant to ask somebody and I forgot, and if you're like online or something and you do know this information, is I think Jesse is in charge of the offense. I think he's the offensive coordinator anyways, or at least the passing game plan. He's in charge of that. I think that this could have been what we saw as him being on the sideline. He can make better decisions than if he's in the game. And it's one of those things that we've seen in the past when someone has to coach and play, it's much more difficult because the play selection just seemed like, okay, they're getting the ball out quick. He's in easy situations. He didn't have to scramble a lot. The O-line was able to protect pretty well, and the Butchers aren't, slobs back there, so you expected some pressure, but it wasn't like it was horrible pressure. I mean, they didn't have the better team, but the offense was able to move the ball. Looking at his stats, let me see what Tobias had. He had 308 yards passing, 44% completion, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, now that's not great to have a 4 interceptions, but it was one of those things of he was throwing it, and you saw it. He was throwing some pretty good balls deep. Yeah, he was slinging. He looked really good, and I do know him a little bit from his past, and I think he's a good talent. And it looked like someone's been working with him. Hopefully, it's been Jesse, and he was confident in there. There wasn't. I mean, he was very poised in the pocket. It looked really good. Obviously, they weren't able to win the game, but I looked up some weird stats. I had time today. I was on the stats. He threw for 308 yards in his one game. They've played, 4, maybe 5 games before now, and the quarterback, Jesse Robbins, has 450 total yards on the season. He's like 150 yards shy off of one game. So, I mean, it was against the Butchers. It wasn't a slob defense either. Even if they had their backups in it later in the game, I don't care. It still was a decent team to play it against. I don't want to call for hey, get rid of the quarterback situation. But if they can figure out a way to utilize this system, I say stay with the young kid, man. I think it was impressive. That's why I threw him out there. Did you have anybody else you wanted to 1-star? I got a couple more names to just throw out, but those are the top guys.
Man, it was real hard, honestly, to gauge these games, to look at them and see who really had like because it was so lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do
I
it. It's
won't say
fine.
I seen a lot of people do it. Yeah, I seen a lot of people do a lot of stuff, but it's just
Yeah,
like it just
I'll be
wasn't that
honest with you.
impressive.
Like
Yeah, so.
for me, I write my notes and I watch all the games, but before I watch all the games, I watch all the highlights, so I kind of know which way the game goes. And I realized like most of the highlights were in the like no offense, but garbage time. Again, for me, once a team is up by 3 scores, I don't care what you do in that game because you're not playing football anymore. You're playing some type of game to either catch up or hold a score or put in your subs. But a guy that stood out, and that's why I'm only giving like 1 and 2 stickers because most of these guys didn't play like tough competition. But I'm giving 1 sticker because I only saw 1 of the interceptions, but the number 12 from the Steelers, if I'm saying his name
Oh
correctly,
yeah.
Mario Sitanen. Hey, I don't know how he got his other pick, nor do I care. But that interception, he's playing safety. And I watched that play like 10 times. I was like, that is crazy. Like, you're not supposed to get that. He was rolling down in defense and just kept going. Like, I don't know if he was supposed to get all the way to the flats, but he was running. He saw the quarterback throwing it, and he broke on it perfectly. Like, he didn't stop his stride. Like, he was just running downhill like he knew where the route was going beforehand. I don't know if he did know the route, but it was a very impressive play. And then, of course, he scored after he caught it. I blame the quarterback a little bit for, telling everybody where you were throwing it when you open up and only look that way. So he knew which route to jump underneath because when he looked up back, the ball was in his face. But looked really good, Mario Sitanen, and I guess he got another pick later in the game. So shout out to him. Other
Yeah.
names I got on
A
here.
little deeper.
Yeah, other names I got on here from the Wolverines, Joshua Youngblood. He looked good out there playing at running back. That when they had him doing like the jet sweeps and handing him the ball, he looked really good when they give him the ball early. They tried a couple screens and they just couldn't get it to him, or they couldn't block for him in time. But when they actually got the ball to him, he moved pretty well for the Wolverines, and that's consistent for him. Another guy, another DB for the Steelers, Oni Garkey, number 1. He had 3 tackles. I think he had like 2 tackles for loss or something, or 1 tackle for loss, and a couple of like key tackles early in the game. Again, didn't watch the full game, but what I did watch, he was impressive, so I'm giving him a star. Other 2 guys, Coleman and Kano from the Crocodiles, they both did their thing early in this game. I'm assuming that their stats went up later. I don't know. Let me look. Kano had 8 tackles and 5 tackles for loss in this game. So I'm assuming that, yeah. And Riley Coleman had 3 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. And Coleman had 2 sacks. Akano had 3 sacks. I'm just now seeing their stats. But I give them 1 star because, it is what it is. But they did really well. So kudos to them. 2 sticker performances. Do you have any guys that you want to throw out here that did really well that we ain't giving them 3?
My mind just went blank on his name, but the Steelers quarterback.
Kahari Lane.
Yeah, Kahari Lane. I know we haven't talked a lot about him during
we haven't
this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's slowly like silently moving the ball around, getting the ball to all his playmakers, and they're getting in the end zone. No matter who they playing, you know what I'm saying, at this point. So I just wanted to shout him out. I gave him a 2-sticker performance because I just like the way that he's distributing the ball. And he's also know when to run. He knows when to take off and not force throws. And the Steelers offensively, man, I mean, they looking good right now. So he getting the ball to Isaac Marsh. He getting the ball to all the playmakers. That's literally football, though. When you think about it, that's literally football. A lot of it is coaching. But at the end of the day, it's getting the ball to the guys that can make plays and let them do their thing. And the Steelers are doing exactly that. And they won the game. And yeah, I just wanted to I gave him a 2-sticker performance. Yeah, that's probably my only one. I'm a little harder on all the rest of the guys because they just hadn't. It's like they haven't.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to we get to the crunch time of the really, really, really important games. And then I need to see what you do against the better competition, and then we'll go for those 2-sticker, 3-sticker guys.
Well, that's why it's interesting. Like this week, that's why I told you what it was earlier today or yesterday that I wanted to go over like mid-season stats because this week I meant to say this earlier is this week was a good like stat week because everybody's had a couple of games where like man they didn't play as well as they should have or they played too well, but not everybody's had like let's run it up and get stats every week. So a lot of teams their stats are now matching where they actually are because you play a couple tough games and if you're playing against the Butchers, the Crocs, or the Steelers, your stats aren't great when you're playing against those teams because it's such a close game or they're so good and vice versa. But when you get these games, like everybody had kind of like a stat game, and we saw some stats levy up, especially for the total season. But for two sticker performances, I'm just going to roll through these guys. Young Lassie from the Roosters, he was out there doing his thing early. I think he had like 2 touchdowns early. But I know he ended with 118 all-purpose yards. Christian Powell for the Butchers. And I know that's one of those ones where you're like, man, he didn't have to do nothing. Well, he had to run, and he was running. Again, I only watched like the first, let me see, the Butchers game. It was 35-14 in the second. That's when I stopped taking notes. And Christian Powell was on my list as one of the top players in that game already. He made his presence known early. Same thing with wide receiver Lucas Arela. I know I saw him catch 2 touchdowns in that game by the time it was second quarter. So he was out there doing his thing. And then Christian Arambide, I'm looking at his total stats. He ended the game with 6 touchdowns. I know someone told me that before I watched the game. But even early in the game, like he's just throwing it wherever he wants to. And they're completing a lot of passes. Yeah. He had 68% completion, almost 70% completion in that game. And he looks very good this year in general. He looks better than he did last year. We'll talk about it later. I got some things to say about him, but I'll let it ride. And also for this week, what other names I got? From the Steelers, Adam Callahan. Is it number 0 or number 10? No, he's number 0. Number 0, the linebacker. The dude, he had 3 tackles for loss, but he was constantly like making solid tackles that were important to like stop the drives for them. So shout out to him for 2 stickers. And then the actual number 10, Ethan Greenfield. His stats say 75 yards and 1 tutty, but he was the driving force for the offense as well. Like you said, Kahari Lane was sprinkling it to people when they needed to, but Ethan was able to just move the ball. That offense was able to move the ball easily, and he was getting a lot of extra yards. He was getting a lot of like, hey, it's going to take more than 1 or 2 of y'all to take me down, and that's what I really liked about him this week in the game. And then their Swiss Army knife from the Steelers, Isaac Marshall. He had 6 receptions, 89 yards, 2 tutties, but 103 all-purpose yards because they have him playing running back and receiver. And just want to shout out to him because I know I said it earlier in the season that Isaac Marshall's not the guy that you want to be the guy, but the Steelers have decided he is the guy. Like, he's going to be the guy that they make sure that if they run the offense through him, they're successful. And it's working for him. So, I take it back. I mean, I said he couldn't be the guy, but it seems to be working for them. So I ain't going to, knock their hustle. And he's playing at a much higher level than we've seen him play before as well. And maybe that's just because they're actually running it through him and not making him a gadget player. So it's good to see him kind of step up this week and continue that. Last 2 guys, Deontay Sip from the Crocs. I mean, he just went crazy in this game. So he had 236 all-purpose yards. He took that kickoff to the crib. What was it? Was it the start of the second half when he caught the 90-yard kickoff? That was let me see how fast he actually is. Honestly, like I hadn't noticed. Like obviously he's fast, but on that one, his stride started to get long, and then it shortened up towards the end again. But for about 15, 20 yards in the middle of that thing, I was like, okay, we got us a sprinter. Probably a sub-11 guy, one of them 10-9, 10-8 guys. Who knows? Last guy, number 89, I want to say Jabril Alamane. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, he showed out. He balled out too.
He balled out. Not only did he ball out, he showed out. He had some celebrations, had a little swagger with him. You could tell he was having fun. And I know he came on late for them, so I don't know if he was here for the first or second week of the season. But since he's like become on the team, he's definitely their I would say number 2 option behind Eustace Vertanen. But together they both do really well, and Eustace did well in this game too. I'm just not giving them any stars because I'm giving so many away to everybody else. But yeah, that seems to be our stickers for the week. I still ended up with a lot of names. I'll be giving the love, and Coach Q be taking it back. It is what it is. All right, we got win or loss. And let's not even we're not gonna just bull crap y'all today. Come on. Everybody that won convincingly, in a good fashion. There were some games. We'll go through each one of them anyways, and we'll just talk about them. The Roosters Wolverines game. What did you see? What did you like? I mean, the Roosters came out, put it on them. That was that.
The Roosters did what I expected them to do, and that was, pretty much hit them from the offense and defensive side. I mean, getting pick sixes, getting interceptions, sacks, forced fumbles. Offensively, Ambrose came out and did what he needed to do. He sprayed the ball out, hit them deep. So it was kind of like one of those execution games where you work on things that maybe haven't been working for you, or things that you want to see look better. And I think the Roosters did that, against the Wolverines. They didn't really have, anybody to really worry about defensively. But I go on the defense side of the ball. They did what they were supposed to do. I mean, they didn't let anything happen that we didn't expect to happen anyway. So it's just tough. It's just tough seeing these games, because sometimes, like, the guys, it's like games like this don't make you better. So it's more of repetition. You got to get better doing the reps, but as far as the competition, you're not going against the better athletes, or you're not getting better like you probably want to. So, but some positive for the Wolverines. I believe they brought out everything that they could bring out, and they've seen some success in some of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think now they have to go to that point of where we might need to throw a screen to this person who plays, defense and most of the time, or, it's desperate times now. So shout out for the Wolverines for being creative and getting some positive stuff that did happen for them. It wasn't enough, but yeah, it was still like obviously a blowout. But Roosters keep on trucking now. They another win and go to the next one.
Yeah, another day for the Roosters. Shout out to Helsinki Wolverines, number 4, Fiso Salama, out there playing receiver for him at the end of the game. Hey, the screen, and then he rode out on, showing he got a little speed. That was nice. And then I think they threw him like a fade ball at the end. He caught that one. That was good. And that was using the backup quarterback as well. So that's a little dicey for me that you put in the backup quarterback. But I understand putting in somebody like Fiso. He's their like kick returner anyway, so they expect him to be the type of guy as the juniors. He was the like quarterback, I think, for the juniors team. So he's shown that he's athletic. He's a safety. So it looks good that they're trying stuff like that at the end of the game. But even in the little bit that I actually watched the 35-7 by the second, the Wolverines offense, they're trying. Like, you can't say they're not trying. Like you said, those screens, they're trying to execute. They didn't give up a lot of like sacks. There wasn't a lot of pressure. Like, they got the ball out quick. So they had the right idea, but again, the execution just isn't there, and we know why. We know why. So it is what it is. But moving on to the next game, we had Tampa the Saints versus Portvoo Butchers. We talked a little bit about this earlier, about the Saints offense in this one, but what else did you see in this game that you want to note
on? I think right now, from what I noticed, is the Butchers aren't really getting tested on a regular, for one. They're not getting tested on the regular. I mean, Roos's game, yeah, but other than that, they've been a better team in all of their games. And like what I'm seeing is, they're in. I think they're focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's going out, winning the game, dominating the game, having fun, and getting off healthy. And that's what it seems like they're doing. I seen Mickey play defense. Mickey had a pick six. Zach Wright, another interception. Jalen Todd, another interception. Aaron Bede, like you said, he looks way better than last year. He doesn't look as rushed. Christian Powell looks healthy. He's not getting beat up and hit all the time like he was last year. These guys, they look like they're getting better and stronger as the games go. So, yeah, other than that, I mean, the Saints, like I said, we said earlier, their offense put up points. They hit them deep. Like you said, number 80, he took off and made something happen. It's just obviously their defense isn't just not strong enough to handle the offense like the Butchers had. So it's just kind of like it sucks that the score ended the way it ended, but you can only withstand so much, So, but the Butchers took care of business. They scored 72 points. I'm sure they probably was trying to score 100, knowing Rojo. They probably was trying to score 100, but yeah, it was a dominant game by the Butchers. But at the same time, the Saints can get something positive out of it. So,
man, I forgot they scored 70 points. Look at my notes. I always write down when I stopped watching, and I got like 3 stars and says like 14-35 in a second. I'm like, oh man, so they doubled that up in the second half. Gosh, one thing that I'm gonna talk about with this game that was interesting. I don't know if other people noticed it, but the second drive that the Butchers had the ball, they started the drive with their backup receivers and running back. Like, they put in all their second string. And they ended up like moving the ball a little bit. I think they got a first down. Besides Aaron Bede, I think they got a first down. And then there was a huge like line change where Nate, Arilla, Mickey J, they all came in like after that. But before that, they had backups in there like moving the ball. And I think that's kind of how they approached the game. They came into the game saying, hey, we're going to work. We're not going to just put up points with our starters and then let it go. We're going to mix it in, put in the backups. I've seen a lot of different receivers coming in and out the game. And on the defensive side as well, I think I don't want to lean too much into saying this is why the Saints had success, but I do think I saw a lot of substitutions or second stringers in on the defensive side as well. I think they were trying to mix and match. They weren't going like full like backups, but I do think it looked like they were trying to mix and match some guys, let some guys get some reps who hadn't had as many earlier in the season or something, which was really good. I think it was a good mix. They didn't just go like full backups. They went like, hey, put a guy here or there, let him start this game and we can work around him. And they did pretty good. I think that's what this game was for them, was a way for everyone to kind of work in. So it looks good on the Butchers. Like I said, Butchers, I'm with the team this year. We're going to the ship, baby. Let's do it. I'm all in. Butchers or bust. Getting to the third game, we had the Wausau Royals versus the Kuopio Steelers. Again, this one went a little bit longer because in my notes it says it was 30-7 in the third. So that's when I stopped watching. It was in the third quarter. What were your thoughts about this one?
The Royals scored on the first drive. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken, they were up 7-0. They scored first.
They were up 7-0.
Yeah, they scored first. So I thought at that point that we were going to see a different type of ball game than expected. But then, Manley does the Manley thing, and he finds a way to get the team, up and take charge of the game, and that's what they did.
Can I just state one thing about them scoring?
Yeah. Yes.
I just want to put this like disclaimer for anyone who didn't watch the game, doesn't know. On fourth down, they did a fake punt, and the quarterback, the receiver number 7, Quigley, I think his name, he threw it to the new import number 9. It was like a 30-40 yard pass. That's how they got in scoring position. If they had not did that, they would not have scored. So again, for the Royals to be successful, there has to be big, exciting plays from people who aren't their offense. Like your best, probably your longest pass of the game came at the very beginning of the game on a fake punt from your wide receiver to your defensive back. I'm just throwing it out there in case people just thinking that it's another way. Yeah, they were up 7-0, but it was fluky. That's all I'm saying. But continue. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I gave it, I gave it to them because
but they did finish it. You're right.
They need all the help they can get. Yeah, they need all the help they can get because for one, the quarterback is a turnover machine. Let's just get that out there right now. Turnover machine. You're not going to win any games if you can constantly turn the ball over 2 or 3 times a game. It's just not going to happen. And especially when your defense can hold, but they don't have the depth like that to just be on the field all the time. So you got to be able to withstand drives and you got to be able to score. And that's just something they haven't been able to do consistently. And without the running game being on, there's not much they can do. And a team like the Steelers, they're going to hit you quick. They're going to make plays on defense, and they're going to make it hard for you to try to win games. And like I said before, unless Alpha is on offense, they're not going to have a whole bunch of just big plays, offensively. So it wasn't the worst blowout game. You know what I mean? I guess this wasn't that bad. I guess if you think of score-wise, maybe.
What was the final score? I don't remember. Because it was 30-7 when I stopped watching. What was like 42 to something?
Was it 50? 52 to something. But then I see 52.
I have no idea.
Either way, it was a blowout, man. It was a blowout, but it didn't feel as bad as the other ones did. But the Royals, I do believe they have the players, and I do think towards the end of the, not say end of the season, they'll go on and run. Maybe they'll make some changes or something. I'm not sure, but right now the Steelers was the better team, and we expected them to win, and they did that. So shout out to them for making it happen either way.
36-7. So I mean, they only scored one more time since I stopped watching. So not that bad, not that bad at all. Just a couple things to throw in there. I already talked about the number 12 interception because that was crazy. That's all I had on my notes was, gosh, that was crazy. One thing I noticed in this game, and again, I don't know if they do this all the time, but the Steelers went for 2 like every time. I like that. I like that going for 2 instead of kicking extra points. I mean, I think obviously they could kick the extra points because Ero Pekkanen was there, but I think they consciously made a decision to go for 2 every time. And it's one of those things of like statistically, it's been proven that if you go for 2 every time, you're still going to make about as much as if you were kicking. So why not? And they did that pretty much the whole game, and it looked good. I think them going for 2 is one of those things that they're going to be able to rely on later in the season when they get into some tough games, and it's going to differentiate them from. I mean, just saying it is. It's going to differentiate them from either the Roosters or the Crocs. Like that's what I think. I think that's what's going to differentiate them coming towards either the end of the season or in the playoffs. They're going to have the experience of those 2-point plays because they've run them so often in game situations already. So I think that was really good on their part. Let me see. Someone's put the score on there. Yeah, it was 7-36. Appreciate you, OG.
Appreciate OG.
Yeah. I wonder if that's OG. Yeah, I wonder if that's like OG, like what we know, or is his name something that sounds like OG? I don't know. But last game was the Crocodiles versus East City Giants. Now, this one, I left when it was 21-0 in the second. And now I'm looking at the scores. It ended up being like 42-10. It's still not that bad in general. So what were your thoughts about this one? Crocs just came out there and put belts ass, or what?
They're gonna have to do something about Mr. Sip. Because right now, that boy is literally a train, man. I like watching him play. It doesn't matter who he plays against. He's running the same way. He run hard. And if you don't gain tackle or if you don't wrap him up, he's going through you. And that's just simply what the Crocs are doing on offense. The quarterback is playing, decently well. He's not playing bad. He's getting the ball to the guys, and they're making plays when they need to. But Sip is that offense. He
it's
is
good
that
when you can run
offense.
it
Like
through
if
them.
they want to
Yeah.
have any chance, yeah. If you want to have a chance later on, playoff wise, Sip is going to be your ticket there. Because he's a hard runner. He can do returns. He's hard to tackle, and you can see that every game he's breaking through tackles and getting a lot of yak. So shout out to Skip, for that game. But that's who I noticed in this game. That was like the one person who like stood out the whole game. He's just a lot to deal with. And the Crocs, that coming from Christian Powell, obviously I don't think he's Christian Powell, but at the same time, he was a good, pickup to have that offense still having a strong running game. And so far, he's doing what he's supposed to do. So defensively, though, I mean, Charles O'Connell, Coleman had, I believe he forced either had a sack or a forced one of them. I think he had a sack
I
early.
think.
That kind of
Yeah.
got them going on
I think it was
defense.
I think it was
Charles
a strip
O'Connell
sack or something.
strip sack or something. Yeah. So Coleman is doing his thing. Charles O'Connell, the normal guys names that we say every week, they're doing their thing. So the Crocs are right where I think they should be right now. They're in that I believe they're going to be a playoff team. They just have to get the passing game a little more up to par as far as the people that they're going to be playing against. But right now, that running game is everything and more. So, yeah, the Crocs, shout out to them for just having a good game. ECG fought, they fought, they tried.
Yeah.
But it was just too much to deal with. Anyway, they ended up scoring. ECG ended up scoring, I believe, on an RPO slant in the end zone or something like that. So, they shout out to ECG, man. They've been trying to. This is the thing about being in this league, in the Maple League. That first year or those first 2 years, you go through a lot of pain. It's a lot of
Growing
pain.
pains.
Everybody doesn't have the means. Yeah, they don't have the means of just bringing in these just incredible imports that's going to make a big difference in all these games. But you gotta develop players, and this is important. You have to that time in the off season, and you have to develop your guys to have a chance, because at the end of the day, you only got 3 or 4 or 5 imports, whatever it is now, but you have more local talent than you have imports. So it's very important in the springtime that your local guys are there getting better together. And ECG, this is a hard time right now. You're losing. It seems like, you always looking at the back of somebody's jersey on defense. So it's like it's hard, it's tough, but you just gotta keep your head, and it will get better. And this should be a learning lesson for all the teams that's not where they want to be, but just know, like, you have to put that time in, and you have to, invest in these players in the offseason. And ECG, they'll probably do that and continue to do it. But the Crocs are just too much on offense, especially in the running game. So yeah.
Yeah, just to add a little bit about ECG, because it's one of those situations where we always try to do like a zero-sum game about it. A win is a win, a loss is a loss, and that's the difference. But sometimes it's really not the difference. Like there's something to say about how you win and how you lose. Obviously, winning is the ultimate goal, but sometimes, they say a loss can be a lesson. Sometimes a loss is better than a win because you have to work on things from there. And how you lose tells a lot about like where you are in the process. And the way the ECG is losing is they're not losing because they're not going out there. They're not losing because they're not hustling. Like I can say this when I was watching the Wolverines, because I kind of compare these lower level teams to each other. Obviously, I seen a lot of plays. And let's go back to when the Wolverines played the Royals at the beginning of the season. And the difference in that game was Alpha's returns. You can go back, look at film on those returns, and you'll see Wolverine players jogging, not trying to tackle him because they assumed someone else was going to get him. And again, I've seen that multiple times from that team, and no disrespect to them specifically or anything, but when you look at the Tampa Bay Saints, now them I do mean disrespect. like you said, like they don't tackle. A lot of times they miss tackles because people are jogging to the tackle. They think just hitting somebody will take them down. They don't give the effort that you need when you're a lesser talented team. That's not what we see from ECG. I say kids because a lot of them are young, but them kids, they hit hard on defense. I've seen them finishing a couple plays where, someone's holding them up. Someone came in and, cleaned them off. Like they don't give up. And you see that effort from them on the offense side and the defensive side. Rubenstein scored the one touchdown. They keep fighting. Quarterback is getting better at connecting with his receivers every week. That is going to come to fruition later on. It's one of those things like what you said. Once they go back and get everything in the off season, now they know what it takes to win. Even though they're taking L's right now, they know what it takes to win. So it's good to see that from them. Yeah, I guess that's all the games. So I guess we'll get to the next thing. All right, so what we're going to do now is something we're going to call the mid-season update. Let me work on my little picture thing here. All right. So I got this little photo from the stats online. Can you see it at all?
I can't see it, but I got it on my tablet.
Okay.
I got it on my tablet. I can't see it on the screen.
Okay, but it's on there, so other people should be able to see it. Hold on, let me make sure I got the. Nah, I like it when we're on the side. We'll do it like this. But anyways, what I want to do, I think is pretty simple, is kind of go through the stats, but also talk about the positions related to the stats and just see where some of the top players are right now in the season. And I think that's what we'll do. We'll start with, let's go with it. I'm trying to load it up on my computer as well. We'll start with like rushing yards. That's the first statistic here. Leading the league after 6 weeks, we're at the halfway point. So this is a good like spot to say, hey, who's leading the stats and stuff, and who looks like they might be an like all Finland candidate. We got Deontay Sip in first place with 763 yards, followed by Christian Powell with 689, Ethan Greenfield 410. Lassi Pajarinen with 293. And then last we have Casper Becker with 229 yards. Now, my first question, Q, is when you look at this list of 5 leading rushers, does it kind of correlate to who you were looking at towards the top 5 running backs?
Yeah, I definitely think it was going to. I mean, Deontay Sip, we didn't really know what kind of effect he would have because we haven't seen him. But everybody else, I kind of think was going to be up there. Ethan Greenfield was up there last year. Christian Powell up there last year. So those names, Lassie, having some knick-knack little injuries last year, but he's a good runner. The running is in his family. So I expected him to be up there healthy this year. And then, like you said, and then bringing it back to Sip. Yeah, like these guys, I mean, all the good teams have good running games. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So if you want to have success in the Maple League, you got to have a good running game. And that's it.
Yeah. Definitely. Let me do some like next gen stuff. I want to compare them now. That's what I want to do. I want to, see who's the best. If you were to pick like right now, it's 6 weeks. How do you rank these top 4? I'm gonna call them top 4. What would your 1 through 4 be?
1 through 4.
Yeah. How would you do it?
You mean based off of just talent or based off production?
Off of performance so far. We can't go talent. That's how we do our like top 50 list. We're doing like performance right now.
Okay.
Based off of performance this far in the season,
right?
Body of work, yeah.
I believe Deontay Sip is number 1 right now.
Okay. All right.
And the reason that I'll go through the list and then I'll tell you why I had him at 1. But I'll say Deontay Sip is the number 1 running back right now. 2, obviously Christian Powell. 3, Ethan Greenfield. Lassie will be 4. and I'll just start with that. I'll stay with that. But I'll go back to Deontay Ship. And the reason why I got Deontay Ship as my number one running back right now, because his team would not be where they are if he didn't play the way he's playing. Mm-hmm. I can't truly say that if Christian Powell wasn't playing the way he was playing, that the Butchers still wouldn't be where they at right now. Because they're just so loaded with talent. You know what I'm saying? So obviously it's a different team if Christian Powell is not doing the things he's doing. But Deontay Ship is probably a lot more important to his team right now, and his performances every week have a lot to do with their wins. Not saying Christian Powell or Ethan Greenfield don't, but
his win shares will be like higher.
Term.
Like if they had like the basketball like win share thing, his win share will be much higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And
well,
lastly, big part of the Roosters offense too. So yeah. But it's right now he's my number one. I'm going him number one. I hate to because obviously I think out of these running backs, I believe Christian Powell and Ethan Greenfield are the most productive over time. They're the most productive over time that they show. You know what I'm saying? But they all have these special skills, that they can bring to a team, and that's what pretty much got them as the top running backs. But Sip, definitely my top running back right now because he's carrying his team on his back, and he hasn't wavered from it. And it seems like he's just one of those running backs who give me the ball. I'm gonna make sure we get there. So, that's my ranking anyway.
I'm gonna do my ranking. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, and also I'm using a little bit more of the stats too because I have them now. But I'm going Christian Powell 1. I'll go Deontay Ship 2, and I'm gonna throw a wrench in there and put Lassie 3, Ethan Greenfield 4. Now I'm gonna explain mine too. I know that's that'll change your mind right there. But the reason I go Christian Powell is I do understand that, he's on a better team. But if you watch these games, the Butchers offense always starts with him. Now, they start putting up crazy numbers and, people are wide open. The reason that happens is because even looking at his stats, he's averaging 9.1 yards a carry. Early in games, they give him the ball, and teams have to say, okay, we need to focus on this. And then his teammates are allowed to do it. Now, they have all the talent to be successful from that, but it all starts with him. And I think that's why I still have him as number one, because his win share I don't think will be as high. But if you look at how they run their offense, he's probably the most important piece, because once you take him out of that, then they would have to pass first, and teams would be able to figure that out at some point. Again, it's easier to stop a pass because all I have to do is make sure the receiver doesn't catch it. It's harder to stop a run because I got to stop the guy with the ball. And no one has stopped him yet. He's averaging almost 10 yards. Well, he's at 9.1, but almost 10 yards a carry, and he has 600 something yards. So he's carried the ball a lot. And while you look at Deontay Ship, he averages 7 yards a carry. And so that's the difference of those two. But I do think Deontay Ship he's coming on more late than he did earlier in the season. So he's going to end up catching up. And I like that Christian Powell is used in the passing game as well. He has 100 receiving yards. So they do some quick throws to him early in the game to spread the defenses out. I just think he's a really overall back. Now, my other switch is I got young Lassie over Ethan Greenfield. First of all, I'm sorry. Ethan Greenfield, that man, he know how to pick his teams so that they don't run him a lot. They don't run him a lot. They use 3 running backs over there for the Steelers, and he's got another high yards per average, 9.3. And I'm going statistical today because I got into the stats earlier. But another thing is he only has 4 touchdowns. And the reason he only has 4 touchdowns is that he splits time at the running back with 2 other guys. The 5th leading rusher is a backup on his team. So, and then you also have Isaac Marshall, who's also taking reps and yards from him. It keeps him fresh, which is why he's able to get that 9.3. But at the same time, the offense doesn't go through him. This last week, I felt like they did kind of utilize him to get the offense started, but throughout the season, he hasn't been like the key component to that offense. And now when I go to Lassie, young Lassie, obviously you got a similar situation of, okay, well, he's not the guy. He splits time with Ville Hamalainen, and the offense doesn't go through him. But the difference between him and Ethan Greenfield, I would say, is when this team gets down to like closer to the goal lines to scoring situations, he's the guy they're looking for. Like they might not run the entire offense through him, but they want number one to have the ball. They find ways to get him the ball throughout the drives at certain times because he's that guy. You know, even in his last game on a 4th and I want to say 7 or 4th and 13, I don't remember how long, but it was a 4th down and they do a pass play and he's the guy that catches the pass 20, 30 yards downfield, jumps up and makes a great grab because that's the type of player he is. Now, again, I'm not saying that Lassie is better than Ethan Greenfield or that Christian Powell is better than Deontay Sipp. But for me, performance-wise, his performance has been a little more impactful for the team. So that's why I would go with that order. But, yeah, and he's got, like, the lowest yards per carry, too. He's, like, 4.2. But he's doing a lot more in between the tackles running this year. And like I've said earlier, and we kind of haven't said in the last couple of weeks, the Roosters' offensive line isn't what it used to be. It's not that good. And I still stand on that from what I've seen. And that makes it a little bit harder. But you can see like him and Ville Hamalainen are making it work. So that's running backs. Next category we got on here. What is the next one? Passing yards. So quarterbacks, pretty much. Yeah. So we're looking at quarterbacks, passing yards. I got to pull this thing up on my phone. Okay, here we go. First, we got Kahari Lane with 1,161. Second, Ambro Hansen with 1,038. Third, Christian Aaron Bide with 1,020. Fourth, Raina Stewart with 755. And fifth, Brandon Cowles with 741. Does that line up to you? I think that lines up, right?
Yeah.
So let's
not
rank
the year of
again.
the quarterbacks, I'll tell you
that. Yeah, that's for sure.
The year of quarterbacks like we used to. Yeah.
Let's rank them again. Give me your 1, 2, 3. Give me your 1, 2, 3.
Man. I'm going Christian Aaron Bide 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Christian Aaron Bide 1. Because he probably has the hardest job out of all the rest of these quarterbacks. And that's to be able to understand where you want the ball to go, how to distribute the ball throughout the offense to where it opens up your running game. Because like you said, you know, Christian Powell averages the yards that he averaged. And I said this before the season started. I said that they're going to be a matchup nightmare. And for the people that maybe didn't understand what I was saying is anytime that a team goes to 4 receivers, if they're going 4 receivers, you automatically either one have to make a decision. You're going to have to play more DBs or you're going to have to play more line, or you're going to have to play with linebackers. And with a running back like Christian Powell, you can't take the chance of having DBs on the field more than the linebacker because he's going to run through them. So, yeah, you can't. So I think what teams are having a hard time doing is is trying to understand, like, hey, we want to stop the run, but at the same time react to the pass. Like you just cannot do that when you have a quarterback like Christian Aaron Bide who can run and throw. So that gives him 2 options right there. He can run and throw, and he has a running back who's averaging 9 yards a carry. So it's hard to match up against that anyway. But Christian Aaron Bide is playing lights out right now. He's playing good. Like, obviously, the man could probably throw 6-7 touchdowns a game if they're about, you know.
Listen to this statistic, just so you know. He has 16 touchdowns passing and 1 interception.
Wow.
Like that.
That's amazing.
I mean,
that's amazing.
I say this with the utmost of just respect and just random comparison, but I mean them Jadrian Clark type numbers, you know, like Man, he don't miss. That's crazy. And he's and he's got a 58% completion. So like he's not throwing it, and these aren't like he's throwing like a whole bunch of screens either. He's throwing, very accurate throws to receivers who are open, and he's getting them open with the throws more often than not. It's not like people just wide open. He's throwing in anticipation throws, and he's throwing deep. Lucas Arela and Nate Robitaille are going deep pretty much all game, and he's connecting with them. Matter of fact, shout out to Nate for dropping a pass last week and messing up the stats, man. You seen that open one where he ran the hit and go, and it hit him. The ball hit him in both of his hands, and then just kept going. Yeah, Nate, we watching you out here. We hold certain players to a higher standard. But yeah, that's what I'm saying about Christian Arambide. Like, it's crazy, like his stat game this year. And what I wanted to say was that, I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty easy that he's probably the top quarterback of the group this year. But I'm thinking MVP. You know what? I'm calling it Week 7, Christian Arambide, Maple League MVP 2025, or at least Sisu Outstanding Player of the Year for us. I mean, I don't know about the other awards, but I'm already saying he probably gets Sisu for us because I'm looking around, and the best. This is, again, I know I'm saying a lot of stuff that I feel like I don't want to have to debate this later with people, but the best two players in the Maple League are on the same team. The quarterback and running back that previously played for the Crocodiles. I feel like those two players look better than everyone else, and it's unfortunate they're on the exact same team because you can't really give the award to both of them. How do you feel about what I just said? Because I feel like you're thinking about it. Tell me something. That's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
You said the best two players in the league are on the same team. That's what you said.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I feel like those two guys right now, in the back of my head, when I'm watching these games, I'm always thinking, okay, who's going to make my all-fitting list? Then I'm thinking, who's going to make the top 50 list? When I start thinking like top 50, I could put them at 1 and 2. The only there's probably two other players that I could squeeze in between them and be like, okay, that's not bad talent wise. But if I look at like what they've done so far this year, you can't name me two players who haven't done the most and been lights out, like dominant, not just good, not they got a couple plays here when the opportunity. Look, every week we know they're going to be the best guys, and they're the best guys. That's a dominance level that we don't really see out here. Like, you don't see like guys like, okay, I would compare it to what I would say like the LeBron effect. Like, you put a crown on him before he got here, and what has he done? Lived up to the crown. And these two guys, honestly, Arambide is out kicking his coverage. Because last year we had him as the best quarterback, I think, last year, and we still thought that, he was good, not great. And this year he's playing at a level that is ridiculous. And then also Christian Paul is still playing at a crazy level. So, but for me, MVP will go to Arambide for this year. So I'm giving Sisu to Arambide.
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
Right now,
Arambide would be my. Yeah, he would definitely be my MVP pick.
I'll give offense.
I think it's obviously a lot of football left. Yeah, we haven't got to see Bryce Nunley and Anthony Reddick in the same offense yet.
You think that's going to be
but I'm not knocking off what you said. I do believe Christian Arambide and Christian Powell are the most.
But here's my thing: if we do see Nunley and Reddick, I think it'll look like what we have with Nate Robitaille and Lucas Arela. Which since we're here, let me just jump to the receivers. We might as well. That's the next category, right? For some reason on the website it says receptions, and it has the top receptions leaders, which I think that's stupid. So let me look at the yards because I have the yards. And first we have Bryce Nunley. He has 476 yards. Second would be Lucas Erola with 381 yards. Third would be Nate Robitaille with 367 yards. Fourth would be Daniel Rubenstein, 286. Fifth would be Justice Vertanen, 277. And then those would be like the top 5 in yards. And then just a couple names that I would have thrown out there as top receivers. I would throw out Isaac Marshall, Noah Choate, and Jabril Alamane as well. Each one of them has close to 200 yards receiving and less than like 20 receptions. So still good yardage, but just not as many yards as those top guys. But if you were to go from those guys or another list, give me your top 3, I guess, because it's hard with this list is wrong. Or I guess do you have a top
3
5?
Can go in any, top 3 that can go in any. Now I'm gonna go 3 because I don't think I don't want to put.
Yeah, there's a tier to it.
I'm gonna say tier. Yeah. Like I believe Bryce Nunley and Nathan Robitaille are the best 2 receivers in the league.
Agreed.
The best 2,
100%. 100%.
That could go, and it could go either way. We don't actually get to see Robitaille do what we know Robitaille can do too. So if they throw the ball to Robitaille 12 times a game, he's probably going to score 5 times, 6 times. Like it's just we don't get to see that in that offense though. But him and Nunley, obviously top tier to me. Lucas Erola is right up under there, and the reason I say that is because Lucas can break a tackle and walk off, and he can beat you deep. I won't say he's a craftsman in the route running era. Like I won't say he's just gonna kill you on routes. Like you know what I'm saying. But he get the ball in his hand, he gonna walk off on you. If he makes double move, he gone. You know what I'm saying. Speed wise, he's out of there. So going down from there, it's a lot of other guys. Noah Choate, Isaac Marshall. I think they're all on that same tier of like number 2 receivers who show up every game though. You know what I'm saying? They show up every game. They're consistent, but at the same time, you got to look at where these receivers are on the field because obviously, like when you play slot, you have a lot more opportunities to do things because you're going against linebackers and safeties majority of the time. So and they tend to like stare at quarterbacks. They seem to think that quarterbacks are going to throw them the ball. Like so, it's easy to get beat if you're not like disciplined at those positions anyway. But not to take nothing away from them, but the receivers are showing up this year. I'll give them that. Like the stats aren't crazy right now. Because I believe that every team is kind of spreading the ball around all of their guys, but I think top tier receivers obviously is Bryce Nunley and Robitaille. Like, and then it's
that makes
everybody
sense.
else.
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah, I think the stats back it up. I think we're in a good spot. Like you said, when Jacoby Reddick comes, it's going to be a little weird because his stats aren't going to be where everyone else's is. But then we'll have to start. Well, once we get later in the season, we'll start looking more at the average, yards per catch and touchdowns and stuff like that. And that's another interesting thing because I'm looking at the touchdowns. Nate Robitaille 7, Lucas Erola 5, Bryce Nunley 3. Isaac Marshall 4, Noah Choate 4. That's one thing that we haven't seen. We've been seeing it lately, but we didn't see it early. Was they weren't getting Nunley the ball like enough. We're at the right times. And then they started to lately, and then you're like, oh, well, yeah, he's the man. So it took the Roosters a little bit going. That's why I think he doesn't have any touchdowns. But also I think a guy that kind of impacted that is that you had Renee Rautonen. I know he's not there anymore. He's not going to be there. But I think that if they were to do a full season with both of those guys, I think it would have been something special once they started getting them the ball. So it's going to be interesting when they bring in Jacoby because that should be helpful as well. I don't have much more for the receivers. I feel like you named pretty much those are the guys. Like the difference between outside and inside is a huge thing. I also want to throw out Daniel Rubenstein in there though. 20 receptions, 286 yards, 3 tutties. He's I said it earlier that I didn't think he was, but I feel like he's proven so far that he's a legit number one. They just have to get him the ball. That's the biggest obstacle they have is getting their number one the ball, and they don't really have as many like other receiver spots. But he's also one of the hybrid receivers that I think he fits that. Like if you go Bryce Nunley, Nate Robitaille tied, and then you go next outside guy, you go Lucas Erla, and then you're like, well, if I go Isaac Marshall, Noah Choate, even Jabril Aliamain, I'm looking at slots. But Daniel Rubenstein, he can play both in and out, and they haven't played slot and outside receiver to get him the right matchup, which again shows his versatility and that he's more like a number one receiver because they're trying to find ways to get him the ball as much as possible. So I think throughout the season, hopefully, I mean, once they play, who they have, they're going to be playing against the Wolverines again, stacking up some of those stats, doing what you got to do, playing against those teams that are more closely to their skill level. He'll be able to get open a little bit more. But what's the next position on this thing? It says touchdowns. I don't want to do that. That's a weird thing to do. It's like who scored the most touchdowns? Oh yeah, I wrote down returners. Yeah, I wrote down returners. It's not on the screen, so we don't have to go back to it. But returners and X factors. Okay, so I tried to find who had like legit returns because some guys had like one or two returns. So I'll name the list that I have, and then you tell me what you think about it, and we go from there. So on the list, I have at number 1, Alpha Jallo, who has 3 kick returns for 150 yards and a touchdown. So he's there mostly as a punt returner because as a punt returner, he has 8 punt returns, 14.5-yard average, and 1 touchdown. Because everybody's played 5 or 6 games, so they need to have at least 5 or 6 returns for it to really make sense. Like if you're not returning once a game, you're not really a returner. Next, I have Lucas Erla. He's got 5 kick returns, 38.4-yard average, and 1 touchdown. After that, the next kick returner, I'm looking for next kick returner. Next kick returner, we got Cedric Johnson. He has 8 kick returns, 31.3-yard average. No touchdowns, but he has a very high average. And then after him, next guy is Renee Raltonen. He has 6 kick returns with 26-yard average, but he obviously won't be here for a season. And then we have Fiso Salama, 9 kick returns, 19.4-yard average. All right, those are my kick returners. Now I'm going to add the punt returners into the list just so you kind of see the difference. Alpha Jallo will be the first one. 8 punt returns, 14.5 with 1 tutty. Zach Wright, 7 punt returns, 15.1 average, 1 tutty. So 1 less punt return, higher average, same amount of touchdowns as Alpha Jallo. And then after that, the closest would be Noah Choate, 9 punt returns, 6.7-yard average. So with those names and numbers and lists, the way that I have it is number 1, Alpha Jallo, because you got a kick returner and a punt returner. He scored on both, and he has a high average for punt return. Number 2, Lucas Erla, kick returner, but he has a touchdown, 38.4 average, but he only has 5 so far. They played 5 games, though, I think, so that's enough for him to count, but that's all he has. And number 3, I got Zachary Wright, 7 punt returns, 15.1 average, 1 touchdown. I think those are the top 3. What are you thinking? Does it sound about right to say those 3 are the top 3? Now, throw away the stats based on how you feel. Give me your 1, 2, 3. Based off of feeling. Don't worry about the stats. Yeah.
Based off of feeling, Alpha number 1, Zach Wright would be 2 for me, and then Lucas Erla.
Yeah, so, that's how I felt about it.
If I had 4, Lucas... I throw Sid in there. I'll throw Sid for the kick returns though, because that's a great average. Even if You giving your
Yeah.
offense that don't really have an offensive chance. So even said would be number 4 for me.
And honestly, I think Sid's is lower because I know in the last game that he did, he had a long return and he tried to pitch it back. And and the person that he pitched it back to, they like ended up like fumbling it and just covered it up. So usually when that happens, you don't get the yards. Because when Alpha pitched it to Quigley scored a touchdown and got all the yards. So Sid's average could be higher. It could be more closer to 40 yards.
Yeah.
Yep. It's an interesting group because I do feel like Alpha is easily the top returner. Zachary Wright is just crazy that I feel like he's slept on as a returner. I would never punt to that guy.
He's a great everything return, though. Zach Wright, though, is like, and I don't want to throw this name out there with Zach Wright, but I'll just give y'all a comparison. You remember how Ed Reed used to be? Remember how Ed Reed used to like get returns and then score, and then he'll get interceptions and score? I think Zach Wright is like that type of returner. He's one of those people who like he can score no matter what situation it is, and he usually has a chance to score. So I think Zach is up there with just all around a returner, whether it's pick six or whatever it is. It says he's just one of those people you don't want him to have the ball in his hands. Especially on defense when you got 5 or 6 linemen that's got to tackle. So
what's interesting
Zach Wright is definitely top two.
Zach Wright be getting on the field. That's the thing, is he be on the field when you don't be thinking he on the field. He also holds the kicks for the field goals, and they be going from extra points. Sometimes that snap be bad. Next thing you know, Zach Wright is running with the ball. I would always watch to see where he is on the field because that could always turn into points the other way. So, him as a returner is crazy because he shows it when he does defense, and he's a really good returner. But the other two guys, like Lucas and Sid being on there, is really surprising because it just doesn't look like that sometimes. But when I think about it in my head, Lucas Arilla, he get after it when he gets that ball. A lot of times, and he just squirts out of there, and he does the cross field runs a lot of times. It actually said do the same thing. They start on one side of the field, and they're so fast they can get to the other side before the defense can get down there. But what's the next category on here? Tackles. Okay, total tackles. Based on the list, we have Adam Callahan in first with 44. Alex, is it Harriot? I don't know why. It's just 2 R's and 2 T's. It's just hard to pronounce. Sorry.
We ain't learned how to say his name yet. It looks like Harriet.
I know. It's just, but with the 2 R's and 2 T's, I'm like, why would I have 2 R's and 2? But Alex Harriot, 43 tackles. Jalen Todd, 42 and a half. Alvin Reels Jr., 34 and a half. They have another defensive lineman on here. We're going to do linebackers, though, but Tyron Dixon has 28 and a half. And only other 2 linebackers that I threw on here, added with these top 4, I guess, is I threw on Raul Khalifa, who has 24 tackles, but he has 5 tackles for loss, 3 PBUs. And then the other linebacker for the Royals, Mika Steger. I think he's number like 33 or something. He has 21 and a half tackles, 7 and a half tackles for loss, 2 PBUs. So looking at this list with these 4 plus the 2 Royals guys I added, does that look about right to you, some of the top linebackers, or are we missing somebody?
No, I think this looks good. I mean, Callahan, Harriot, and Todd.
Those are your top three too.
That's the top 3 right there. You can see on film they're showing up every week making big plays. Constant linebackers, like real linebackers, like guys who run the sideline to sideline, guys who are making plays in the passing game too, and tackles for loss. I judge a lot of linebackers off tackles for loss.
Me too.
That's me. That's just me because
give me your 1, 2, 3.
I feel like
I like doing the list. It's fun. It's
1, 2, 3.
Seeing you, seeing you decide who you like and don't like. What's interesting about these 3?
I'm not even gonna lie.
Because look at the stats. Like, they all have about the same amount of tackles, 44 to 42 and a half. It's about the same. We got their solo tackles on here. Callahan has 25. Harriot has 28. Todd has 25. So very similar. Sacks, Harriot has 3. Adam only has 1. Todd doesn't have any. And then you look tackles for loss. Harriot has 7. Adam Callahan has 6. Todd is 4.5, but Todd has 3 interceptions and 1 PBU. Is that correct? Yeah, I guess so. That's crazy. Is that right? That's he got. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have between all 3 of them, they all have really good linebacker stats. Like Todd, where he doesn't have as many sacks and tackles for loss, he's got 3 interceptions and a PBU. Like, those are game-changing statistics. But Harriot and Callahan both have a lot of tackles. You got 3 sacks for Harriot, 6 tackles for loss for Callahan. What's your 1, 2, 3?
Ooh, let me say this first. I believe that Harriot and Callahan are legit middle backers.
Middle backers. There you go.
They're legit middle backers, like old school traditional middle backers. Like, so I expect their tackles for loss, their sack numbers, I expect those to be a little higher for them because Jalen Todd is a hybrid back. He would be a hybrid backer in my defense. Yeah, like he's somebody who he knows he can read pass. He's good at it. He obviously has decent hands. But also all of these guys are doing a great job this year. I say that all these guys are doing a great job. But if I had to go 1, 2, 3, I'm going Jalen Todd 1, I'm going Harriet 2, and then I'm going Callahan 3. And that's hard for me. I mean, it could switch, but Jalen Todd to me is the most dangerous. He's the most dangerous because he can be there. He can be there in the run game, and he's also going to be there in the passing game. And when you're a defensive coordinator, if you got a backer that can drop and actually read defenses and actually get interceptions, it gives your defense so much more opportunity to make plays. Harriet is a real aggressive linebacker. Just from watching the game, it's almost like he's an extra D lineman. The aggressiveness that he plays with, the way he hits, everything. So I expect him to have a lot of, just brutal games because he's always around the O-line, always around the running back. So, and Callahan, he's probably the smaller of the 3, but he has good instincts. He knows where the ball is going. He gets to the ball, and he plays for his defense. So, yeah, that if I rank him, that's how I would rank him. All 3 good linebackers, though. Damn
it, you did such a good job. Like I rank them differently, but I ain't gonna talk about them because you talked about them better than I could say. I was gonna go Callahan 1, Todd 2, Harriot 3. And I had nothing really to say about like how they play as well as you did. I was just gonna say I like them in that order because I'm good. Like you said though, Callahan, I think he's smaller, but he got like that honey badger mentality to me. Like I feel like he's 120 miles an hour all the time. It could be little man syndrome. I don't know, but I like that. That's just me. But again, like. You said it all right, man. Moving on. The next stats is interceptions, and this is weird because it's like first we got actually Sirianni with 4, and then Zachary Wright with 4, and then we got a linebacker Jalen Todd with 3, and then somehow Mickey J is on there with 2, and then Mario Sitanen has 2. There's probably like 8 players with 2, so I'm just gonna go defensive backs. And we'll say Oxley Sirianni, Zachary Wright. I'm going to name – let me go with safeties first, and then we'll go from there. If I go safeties, I'm going to go Ottu Tuoko, Jaakko Jokinen from the Roosters, Anthony Thornton from the Roosters, and last safety, I'll go Fiso Silamov from the Wolverines. Those are who I have as like top safety players. Give me top 3 for you so I can shorten my list. Or are we missing somebody?
I'm going Zach Wright. Nah, I don't think we missing anybody. I think Zach Wright is the top safety.
Mm-hmm.
Next to him, I would go. It would be between. Man, you said his name. Number 30 for the Roosters.
Number 20, Jaakko Jokinen. Number 20 is a safety.
Jaakko, yeah.
Jaakko.
Yeah, I'm going him, and then I'm going 44 from the Crocs. My top 3 safeties.
Atu. Okay. All right. Okay. So
That was my
Zach,
top 3 safeties.
Jaakko,
That's just
Atu.
overall.
Okay. Yeah.
A little different because I know people like seeing like import names and all that, but I just think these are 3 good safeties. Like Zach obviously is on another level, but the other 2 are real good safeties.
Yeah, I would go with the same. Well, I would go Oxley Siriainen over Atu Tuoko. Only because of and I think they play on the same defense. So they're next to each other. So I pick one over the other. But only because I like the Oxley is a ball hawk. But he was a ball hawk last year when he played for the Steelers. And Tuoko is more of a like strong safety. He's gonna make tackles. So you have 2 different like looks. But I'm just looking at their stats. Atu Tuoko has 19 tackles. Oxley Siriainen has 16 and a half. One of them has 4 interceptions. One of them has 1. I'm going with the one that has 4 if I had to like pick somebody out of them. But also number 20, Jaakko Jokinen. I wish we don't have it, but I kind of wish that we had like an award for like outstanding finish player. We don't do that because we like to, grade everybody together. But I feel like Jaakko Jokinen is playing outstanding for a finish like defensive back on the Roosters of all teams. Like they play against a lot of good offenses, and he's always around the ball. And let me look at his stats. He has 21 tackles, 14 solos. That's what's important to me from the safety position is how many tackles you making by yourself. Because those are usually game-saving tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the tackles that separate you from, the other people. Those are safeties. Let's go corners, which is always hard because I only have 3 corners on my list. I have
who plays corner? Who even plays
right? I have Warfan Prosopson. I got the young Swede from the Roosters, number 28. I got Axley Olin from the Roosters. And then I got Eero Pekarainen from the Steelers. Do you have any other corners that you think looking good so far this year?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I haven't been overly impressed by no corner this year. And I don't feel bad saying that. I really don't feel bad saying that because all these receivers pretty much been having their way.
Eero's the only one I feel. Eero's the only one I feel legitimately is locking down receivers, and we don't talk about him because they're not throwing his way. He's the only one that's doing that.
Yeah.
Normally, I know 2 or 3, but like you said, like all the receivers are getting looks. He's the only one I've seen in games where I'm watching him because I know that he's a good corner, and I'm not seeing him in any action because he's like on his guy. And same thing with the young Swede. The young Swede isn't getting tried that much. I mean, we've talked about him in the past. He's not the best corner in the world, but in this league, he is one of the better corners, if that makes sense. And then Oxley Olin is again. Oxley Olin again, similar situation is I'm looking at his stats. He has 3.5 tackles on the season, 1 PBU, but I see him on the field all the time. So that must mean that whatever he's doing is working. But that's just something that happens.
Olin is a corner that he's obviously older, but he's brains on defense. He sees stuff, he reads stuff, he knows where to be. He just knows where to be now. So guys won't try him that much. I think the only one I've seen him beat him, you know what I'm saying? But he's gonna be where he's supposed to be pre-snap. He's gonna play games pre-snap. you know what I mean, he's just right now, he's a veteran at corner, so he's not really just gonna pick six you right now. He's just gonna play good, solid defense like he's supposed to. But Hero, I would say that he's been pretty impressive though this year too. So
Yeah, and what I noticed a little bit is I'm just looking at stats because I enjoy looking at stats today. Is that the 3.5 tackles tells me that he's not chasing nobody either. Because a lot of these corners, you can play almost a whole season and make 0 tackles, and you could be an elite corner because you really just don't need to be doing all that, like hitting and making tackles. But a lot of corners, if they get beat, then they tackle them immediately afterwards. So they end up racking up tackles because they're constantly getting beat. Or if they're not doing well in a pass game, they insert themselves into the run game and they come up early and try to make more plays. They end up making a lot of tackles because they can't cover. And what you see from Olin is he's not doing none of that. He playing his job, making sure he don't get beat, and everyone else. Most times corners aren't in the run fit, so you don't have to make any tackles. And you could tell like he's probably just not doing that. He's like, I'm making sure that I don't get beat. My number one priority, and the defense will do the rest. Which for the Roosters, that's the safety, Jaakko Jokinen coming down and making that tackle. While if you look at another team like the Wolverines, they got a corner, Capo Vila. He's like number 3 or 4 on the team in tackles, and he plays corner. And that's because there's no linebackers filling outside of Alvin Reels, so he's making tackles. Fiso's making tackles. They got all kind of people in the backside making tackles because the front 7 aren't that good. So I don't think there's that many good corners. Mickey J might get a look this year. I think he was playing safety in the game, though. He wasn't playing corner, was he? I think he was playing safety, yeah. But we might have to throw him on second team anyways because we run out of we might only do 2 corners this year because we might just not do a second team because it might not be more than 2 good ones out there. Last category over here is sacks. And I did look up tackles for loss for all these players too. So we have both. On sacks, first we got Charles O'Connell with 5.5, tied with Tylen Riley Coleman with 5.5. And then after them, we got Oko Ottinen with 5, and then Joni Kotro with 3.5. And in 5th, we have Julius Vuoksentuoto with 3. And let's see what other names I threw out on here. We got Tyron Dixon from the Wolverines. He has 4.5 tackles for loss, but he has 28.5 tackles, total tackles. Noah Nettie from the Butchers. He has 6.5 tackles for loss and 15.5 tackles. I think he's a D tackle. That's why not so many tackles. From the Royals, Anton Silver, number 90. He has 5 tackles for loss. He has 22 total tackles, 16 solos. And then defensive end from the Steelers, Caleb Sale. He has 5 tackles for loss and 12.5 total tackles. He has 2 sacks also. Did I miss anybody from that list that you think? Thinking D lineman? Anybody standing out?
I think you pretty much covered everybody.
I put 9 guys up there, but because let me go through tackles for loss for some of these guys because I feel like the sacks is a little bit confusing, but tackles for loss is a lot easier to kind of tell where everybody should go. Let's see. Charles O'Connell, he had 14.5 tackles for loss. Tylen Riley Coleman, 7.5 tackles for loss. Oko Ottinen, 6.5 tackles for loss. And then you got Joni Kotro, 4.5. Julius Vuoksentuoto, 3 tackles for loss. All 3 of them are sacks. And then everyone else is, 4.5, 5 tackles for loss. So Charles O'Connell obviously outpacing everybody between 5.5 sacks and tackles for loss. And then I guess behind him, I would put, Riley Coleman, Oko Ottinen, and that's where I would stop. After that, I feel like it starts to become a wash. What do you think?
No, I mean Charles O'Connell, obviously number one.
Yeah.
Probably
Then
the
there's
most
like a next.
feared D lineman in the
Yeah.
and then
Then there's
there's
like a
Coleman,
tier.
Coleman,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, yeah. Other than
After
that, I
that,
mean, nobody's doing what yeah, nobody's doing what they doing. So
yeah,
it's some good plays here and there for some other D linemen, other teams, but uh, it's just certain people you're going to see every game making plays, and even for O'Connell to have 14 and a half tackles for loss,
that's
and we're
crazy.
mid-season, it's crazy. That's crazy.
That is,
And we mid-season. So if you're
yeah,
thinking
we 6
30,
games.
the pace he's on right now, you're thinking 30 tackles for losses and over 10 sacks, which he's probably going to get way more than 10 sacks. So you're talking,
The
yeah,
the
it's a lot to
record is
deal
what,
with.
12?
But Coleman is a good man. Should be more than that. I feel like, but it could be.
I think it was like 12 a couple years ago when DeMarco Artis and Little from the Roosters both had
Oh yeah.
like it was like 12 or 12 and a half, something like that.
Right. Yeah, they must be. Could be. I thought it was a little more than that, but it could be. But either way, I mean, Akano, Oko, Coleman, top 3 linemen right now,
Yeah.
consistent linemen too. So
Yeah.
shout out to them.
I think a couple guys that I don't think they're going to be on the stats because of who they're playing with and who's on the field is there's 2 more linemen from the Roosters, the D linemen that I think are talented and playing well, but you're just not going to see them in the stats. Christer Berg playing DT, he's not getting sacks, and he's also not getting tackles because Oko is getting there faster, and Yoni, Kotro, those are the ends. So they're both getting to the ball, but so they're getting most of the stats, while Christenberg and I can't remember his first name, but Vesterinen, I think is his name, the other D tackle for the Roosters. He puts pressure. He gets a lot of pressure. I'm not sure what his stats look like, but both of them stand out on the field. But you're not gonna get them in the stats. And outside of that, there's not a lot of guys doing much for most of these other teams. Like you're getting a lot of like full lines where there's 3 or 4 guys. So someone has one good game, another guy has a good game this week. But like you said, those top 3 guys, they kind of standing out by themselves right now. So yeah. I guess that's all the stats. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to lengthen the show a little bit. So because there's only 2 games this week as well. So we don't have much to talk about. We can get into next week now. All right. So Maple League back in action on Saturday. No Thursday, Friday games. We got East City Giants versus the Royals is going to be the early game. And we got San Diego Crocodiles versus Portview Butchers for the prime time matchup. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about each one of these games. We will start off with the East City Giants versus Wausau Royals. What's the storyline or question in this one?
This is a good matchup, honestly. I believe the Royals have a problem turning the balls over, but East City Giants, if the Royals aren't careful, this will be a shootout. And I won't even say it'll be a shootout because I believe ECG offense is better.
Yeah,
throwing the ball, they're better. And if they can get the ball to Rubenstein, and he can he can make some big plays, then Wausau is going to really have some issues. But on the other hand, if Wausau comes out running the ball, it's going to be a problem for ECG. So I think this will be a mismatched game. One team will probably throw more, the other team will probably pass more. And we'll see who controls the clock. But both these teams need a win at this point. Both of them need one. So I think they're going to come out and throw out everything that they possibly can to try to make sure they get one. So it'll probably actually be a good game. You know, in my opinion, this will be a nice start to the weekend. So we'll see. But key matchups, I would say right now would probably be um, the defensive line for East City Giants against the offensive line for the Royals, because the Royals can run block. They can run block. They don't block terribly in the past. It's just their quarterback is just real inconsistent in what he's doing over there. So that's going to be important for that game. Interesting aspect is how much Alpha gets to touch the ball in the return game. So
Yeah.
ECG, like we say every week, don't kick the Alpha. Don't kick anywhere near Alpha. If you got to go for it on fourth down, go for it on fourth down. But do not kick Alpha the ball. I don't know how many times you done said it, but some kind of way he still ends up with the ball in his hand and hurting people. So yeah, but I think this will be a good matchup for this week. This is actually two teams that I think that are on the brink. They're on the brink of being better, you know, but certain things holding them back. East City Giants don't have an offensive problem. They have a depth problem. So the Royals, though, have an offensive problem. They have an offensive problem, and that's turning the balls over. And they can't do that against ECG. So we'll see.
Before I say my piece on that, I forgot to do something earlier, so I'm gonna say it anyways. And maybe it's unnecessary for the show, but I'm gonna let you know. I want you to know this. When we were going over the quarterback, I was looking at the stats, and the Royals quarterback stats. You remember I said like Christian Arambita had 16 touchdowns to 1 interception, while the Royals quarterback has 4 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. I mean,
that's a liability. Is what that is.
Can you? And this isn't me looking at how many fumbles the kid has. I'm not gonna say his name because he's a young kid, so I don't want to like put his name out there. But that, how are you? You can win. Obviously, they started the season 3-0, and I think this is one of those games where their strategy might work out because I think they're going to be able to run the ball. And if you're able to run the ball, you don't have to throw it as much. But if someone is turning the ball over at this rate, almost every time you throw a pass, you're afraid because at some point, even in the last game, it didn't start with interception, but eventually it's going to happen. It's happening way too frequently. And like you said, it's not like they don't pass protect. They can block, they can pass protect. So it's obviously the quarterback in the system, or I don't think he's like not comfortable or anything. Like he looks confident up there. You just don't look very good. And again, it's one of those things I think that he's going to get better over time. You want to work him in, that's cool. But for this team to be a like legit playoff team, I think they're playing with fire if they just keep going this route. And in this game, this is I haven't made my pick yet in this game either. Like this is a game that I feel that I might have to go off what I really think could happen in this game. I honestly, it could go one or two ways. The best way possible for this game to go is that the Royals come out, win this game, they run the ball, they keep the score low. Alpha has 1 or 2 returns, they win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. That's how the game should go. But it is possible that this kid turns over the ball just enough that ECG mess around, put some points on the board early, force Alpha into playing offense, which now makes your defense a liability because he can't play both. Well, he can play both ways, but we've seen it. When he's playing both offense and defense, he's not as good on both. And if I'm the Giants, I'm doing whatever I can to force Alpha into playing the whole game. Because that's the only way they're going to beat you is he has to do something to beat you. And if you can have him chasing the ball because we're not kicking to him, and then have wherever he's at in defense, make him run. Make him run so that he becomes less of a problem for you later in the game. You mess around fourth quarter, maybe he's exhausted because he's been guarding go routes all day. I know that sounds dumb to say out loud. Hopefully, y'all aren't actually listening to me the game plan, but I'd run seams all day on that safety and make him work. And by the time fourth quarter comes, he can't beat you. And now we can try to game plan because all you have to do is score maybe once or twice to win. You don't have to score 40 to beat the Royals. You score 14, you might win the game. And the East City Giants can score 2 touchdowns on anybody in the Maple League. Their offense is good enough to do that. Now, if they do it in this game, I don't know. That's why I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to pick for this one. This going to be a little tough. I was thinking about it. I mean, I like me some alpha, but I can't trust a team that's going to put the ball in the hands of a kid giving it up 2 to 3 times every game. And first couple games, I'm like, jitters early. We're week 7 now. We 6 games in, I think, for them. You know what it is now. You can't. They're gonna do it. I think I had an interesting aspect for this game too. Oh yeah, so the Royals should be wearing those white joints, and they're playing. Well, I guess they don't really care, but they're playing it on grass in East City Giants. I always hate to see them white joints on grass because I just the grass stains, guys. So hopefully stay up a lot. That's the interesting aspect for this one. Other than that, we got nothing. Let's see the next game. Ooh, primetime game. This is going to be a good one, too, I think. Theo Crocodiles versus Portvue Butchers. What do you thought? What storyline question on this one?
It's the homecoming. The homecoming for Christian Powell and Christian Gambino.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
This should be their first time, playing against the old squad. And I'm sure it's going to be some emotional things with Christian Powell because he's put a lot of years in with those guys. And, everybody don't accept you when you're trying to go do something different in your career. Everybody don't accept it the way you maybe think they will. And because I seen that when I was with the 69ers and then went to the Roosters as a coach, like a lot of guys felt some kind of way about it. But it's at the end of the day, it's your decision. But Christian Powell, I think he's looking forward to this game. It's always fun playing against the guys that you got better with and developed with. Christian Arambide, he had some time with him too. So I think it'll be an exciting game. But then on the other side, you got Akano, who's like, boy, I got to get you. You know what I'm saying? If that's me, I got to get you. There's no way you finna come out here and throw the ball on us.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. And I can see Akano playing middle backer a lot too, just to kind of give that RPO a different look for them. So Coleman will be a big part of this in the run game. This should be a well coach game on both sides. I think it's going to come down to obviously can the Crocs cut off some of those drives. You know what I'm saying, that Aaron Bida is used to putting together, because like I said earlier, you're gonna have to match up in some kind of way. You got to pick your poison. You either got to say we're gonna sell out on Christian Powell or we're gonna sell out stopping the pass. And if it was me,
If it was
me,
you,
I'm selling out on stopping Christian Powell. I'm just being honest. I'm selling out on stopping Christian Powell. I'm doubling your slots, or if I'm not doubling them, I'm bracketing your slots. And Christian Arambide is going to have to make some perfect outside. I'm going to explain to you. I'm bracketing your slots. I'm taking them out of the game. So now Christian Arambide has to throw nothing but perfect outside throws. It's either going to have to be go routes. You know what I'm saying? You need to make his throwing, he needs to be hard. His throws need to be hard. You cannot give him them slots easily. You can't give it to him. So, and you got a Kano. Hey, make him either give it to Christian Powell or he's gonna have to throw outside. And that's just what I would do with certain players. Obviously, they could have a totally different thing that they want to do, and that's cool. But I think the Crocs have the guys to do it, and they could do it. But whatever you do, you can't let Aaron B-Day and Powell both get off, because if they do, you're gonna have a long day. It don't matter if Cano's on there or not. Like, so yeah, I was looking forward to seeing this game, honestly. Like, I really was, because the quarterback for the Crocs, I believe he'll play real well against the Butchers. I do. And all he has to do is throw away from Zach Wright. Just throw away from Zach Wright. Don't let him be anywhere around where you're throwing the ball, and you'll have a chance.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just my little
listening to you say it, you almost convinced me that the Crocodiles could win this thing. But I told you, I'm with the team. Let's go Butchers. Let's go Butchers. You said a lot of good stuff, though. Like, that makes perfect sense. I hadn't even thought about, like, Akano and Aaron B-Day. And I think you just stop there. Honestly, think you stop there, that is the matchup. And it's a moving matchup. Akano at end, Akano at linebacker. Either way, what Akano and Aaron B-Day do towards each other is going to tell you how the game is going to go, or what's going to be successful at different points of the game. I believe, and this is just me telling you my 2 cents, ain't no stopping Christian, Anthony, Aaron B-Day this season. And I feel like this game will be more proof of that when we see Akano attempt to, track him down at some point or stop him at some point, and we see how versatile and athletic Aaron B-Day really is. I think it's one of those situations where
put him on the same side.
Put him on
the same side.
Yeah, that's tough. Me personally,
Coleman and Akano on the same side, and you can't run the RPO. You can't run it. You can't run it. You're gonna tackle Christian Powell every single time. Every single time they fake that RPO, you tackle Christian Powell. And I guarantee you it'll make Aaron B-Day get rid of that ball so fast, because either if he's getting tackled when you fake, you're gonna think twice about giving it to him, because Akano's gonna be there every time. And then you got Coleman, who could probably come off his block and rush after Aaron B-Day. So that would be my plan until they start running away from me. That's the only other choice they're gonna have, is to run to the other side. But then
See, and here's where I think that this is how I think you get beat. And just throwing it out there is that your plan works on the schematic level of, you stop the play. But where I think Aaron B-Day is going to make everybody realize, like, he's him, is that they're not going to be able to sack him. Like, I honestly
let him run.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's running. I'm saying Aaron B-Day can make Akano and Coleman miss long enough that Lucas Erla or Nate Robitaille, and don't forget about Mickey J, Miko Sepinen, can get loose. And I think that's where you have a good plan. And I think that on the X's and O's, I think, you can stop the RPO. You can force Aaron B-Day to run with his feet. But I think when he starts to run and the receivers start to scramble, you find out that, we might not have enough on the back end to cover for 4 seconds or 5 seconds. Like, that's a long time. That's what I'm saying, is I think that's what it's going to be, is that they're going to be like, we got 2 of them, we got them rattled, but, they made a big play, because that's the team that you're playing against, a team full of basically all-stars.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a bad thing. I think it's one of those things where they're going to keep getting shots, and hope that eventually they make a play. It's going to be up to somebody like Atu Tuoko, Oxley Saranen to do more than what's expected of you on the back end. Because I think Akano and Coleman will put that pressure and force Aaron B-Day to make a play. But then it's going to be like, after he makes a play, we almost had him. I think it's going to be one of those situations where they get to a lot of third down conversions.
That's going to happen. Yeah.
That's what's going to make the game good. You're right.
Yeah, that's what's going to make it good. Yeah, it's like he's going to have to make you want him on the run. If I was playing against Aaron B. Day, I want him on the run because I think he throws better when he's sitting in the pocket. When he's on the run, he takes more chances on the run. And that's what you want. You want him to be on the run and trying to throw these darts and trying to throw across his body. Like, you want him to do that. But he has such good players on his offense that it'll make up for it. He's obviously going to hit them sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I think when you're playing against an offense like that, you need that quarterback to make the decision in 2 seconds and not 4. Yeah. So whatever you got to do to, you know what I'm saying, to make that happen, that's what I think the Crocs have to do. I think the Crocs have to sell out on saying, hey, it doesn't matter if we get beat as long as it's not deep. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give up something. You're going to give up something. But I think what you do first is you don't let Aaron B. Day get comfortable in the pocket, and you don't let him get comfortable throwing the ball. And the only way you can do that is if you blitz or you get in pressure. And that's going to be a task for the Crocs. That's all it is. So, I'm happy. I'm excited to see this game, though. Yeah,
this sounds good. Just talking about it makes me more excited about it. And last thing, not to say that I'm going for the Crocodiles because I'm not, but Akano has shown that he can pat the ball down too. And Aaron Bito's not a tall quarterback. He's what, 6 foot, 6'1" maybe. Yeah. Like he's not a tall quarterback. Akano is the type of guy that he'll put that what you said is you want him throwing it out quickly, and if Akano knows he's gonna throw it out quickly, he'll throw his hands up and he'll bat the ball down. He had I want to say 6 or 7 PBUs last season, and they weren't intercept. It was just him batting the ball down in the line of scrimmage. If Coleman knows how to do half of that,
who knows them more than him though? Who knows them two more than him? Who's practiced against them more than him? That's gonna be on this field. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta think it like he knows exactly what to do to get in there. I won't say get in Christian Powell here because I don't think you can get in Christian Powell here. But if you want to rattle the quarterback, what you gotta do is be in his face all game.
You know what I want to see?
You might not get there. So
I want to see Charles Akano hit Christian Powell and how that happens and what does that look like? Because I was watching last week and I was noticing there's a couple of times I think a lot of people underestimate how swift and nimble Christian Powell is. There was a couple, was it the Saints that they were playing last week? Yeah, the Saints where I saw him do one move where the linebacker went to tackle him and he sidestepped him, and the linebacker ended up on his knees, just like he was praying. And then later there was another one where they did a RPO or something, and the linebacker missed, and the camera zoomed in on the linebacker, and he was he went like this or something right in front of the camera because he was like, "What just happened?" Because Christian Powell is quick, nifty, but he'll also run you over. So I'm interested to see when those two forces meet, because Charles Akano, not really a bruiser type, more of a drag you down, get to you, pull you down, but he's strong. But is he Christian Powell strong? And again, not like Jim strong. If Christian Powell is running this way, Charles Akano is running this way, they go perpendicular. How does that math? I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. Before we started talking about this game, I wasn't that excited, but now I'm very excited to see this game now. Just thinking about all the storylines. Only thing I'm not excited to see is the bad camera angle from Senioki, because their camera is super far away, and it has the yellow lines too. So that's not that great. But other than that, it should be a good one. So yeah, we'll get ready for week 7, man. All right, that's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. We knocked out a whole 2 hours, like I was trying to do today. That's good. Mm-hmm. Any last words before we get out of here, Q?
No, like I say every week, man. Let everybody go out there and get better, man. Go out there and show everybody what you worked on during the weekend, and it's a lot of people in the States that pay attention to what's going on, and all the imports. You think people aren't watching? They are. You know what I'm saying? You best believe that. But yeah, just go out there in the midst of being an import. Make sure you giving that knowledge to the rest of the players on your team. You're not there just to play. You're also there to help develop and coach, and how you react to situations affects those guys. So always thinking about that. Like you get down, you get frustrated, it trickles down to those guys. So as imports, just make sure that you always trying to be as positive as you can through whatever situations. You know what I mean? I've been on the winning side and I've been on the losing side of being an import. And I know, how it can affect everybody else on how I act. So yeah, man, just do your thing though. All the imports, man, go out there and do your thing. All the local guys that we've been watching for years, it's been a pleasure, seeing you guys grow and become better athletes and better players, man. So, and once again, when we talk about, you guys, it's not to down anybody. It's not to throw shade at you or anything like that. We just want to see everybody compete. We want to see you get better and show a good product on the field, man. So, yeah, shout out to all the guys out there who still giving everything they can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a whole different direction today because it just crossed my mind. Shout out to Matias Letio, linebacker from Tampa Saints, originally from Hamelina. He is in the United States right now. He played with the Elite Prospects Academy. They played in an all-star game in San Antonio, I think. And he was selected as the defensive European player of the game. I met Matthias last summer when we were doing our Nordic Challenge, and he came across as a kid that wanted to, go to the next level, do what he can to give it a shot in the States. And I introduced him to Elite Prospects Academy, a team out there in Denmark that is playing internationally all year long. He's been with them with Coach Desi, and he's been nothing but a joy for the coaching staff, playing linebacker, sometimes defensive end for them, I think. And just watching his growth and watching him continue to, push the envelope of what he could do as a player. Just want to say congratulations to him on a job well done. Hope he's enjoying life in Texas. They've been down there for a couple of days, I think, or maybe like a week, something like that. So just a full circle moment for me. Obviously, he's going to get back to Finland and do what he can for the Saints, but I hope he is enjoying the time he is now and really glad he's having a good time out there. Other than that, we'll be back here next week talking about these games again. Good luck to all the teams that are playing. Everybody that's on bye weeks, definitely not enjoy yourself. Rest is what I'm telling you guys. Sorry. I know there's a lot of bye weeks. A lot of people like to take trips and stuff during their bye weeks. Once we get to the half season part, I don't really think you need to be taking trips. We need to just rest, get ready for the next game because we about to get down to the nitty gritty in the next couple of weeks. Playoffs right around the corner. Everybody needs to take care of themselves, stay healthy, and be ready for when you do have games after this bye week. So that's it. Make sure that everybody subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget. Did you say it?
Oh. T. Yeah, it just cut out a little bit, I think.
I.
Yeah.
We gone. Answering the phone.